Yes, welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whoever you are, whoever you support, wherever you are more than welcome. Episode 6 of the season so far, and we've made it to apparently loads of fans think I support this club. We've made it to Manchester City. And who else with Man City? It's either LB or Daps. I'm going to do both of them. Here's Daps from Never a Foul, and we are the South Stand. Daps, how are you? Happy Thursday to you.
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Positive mood. Yeah? Better than the last international break. Last international break, we were shit. Now we're good.
Well, you've not lost for a while, have you? You've not lost for
7 games.
It changes the mood, and Liverpool have lost loads, and you're back in a title race, and we're going to talk about all of that. Daps, today I want to talk to you about the season so far. So what I mean by that is I'm going to talk to you a bit about the transfer window. What did Man City do with ins and outs? Did you agree with it? I want to talk to you a bit about sections of Manchester City fans who have asked over the summer for Pep Guardiola to leave the club, which I'll be honest, blows my mind. Also, I want to talk to you about the season to date, the 7 league games you've had, the Champions League games, the Cup game, yada, yada, yada. And I want to talk to you about the title race and what is your best 11. So let's get into it. Daps, talk to me. I want to start with Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
I understand that last year finishing 3rd for you guys is an absolute disgrace and it was terrible and everything went wrong. But am I really seeing that a section of your fan base wanted Pep out?
Yeah, very much so. They've gone quiet. They've gone a little bit quiet at the moment because look, right. So the truth of the matter is that, like Chelsea, Manchester City and Chelsea are 2 similar clubs in that they've gone from here to here overnight, right?
Yep.
And let me be clear, we both Chelsea and City have history. Our history is better than Chelsea's, and that's factually, by the way. But we've gone from here to here quickly, and we have got modern fans that want everything now, and it's what have you done for me recently? And like entitled, a little bit. Some will say standards, maybe that's fair to say. Maybe some of us hold a lot. You know, we are more willing to go back to how we used to be and go, do you know what? We've had a great run. We never expected it. But yeah, there's an element of our fan base that are pretty fucking toxic, to be frank with you. And the Pep Guardiola thing, like, if I tell you where I am with Pep Guardiola, because it might interest you a little bit, or where I was during this summer, right? Because, so first and foremost, I will never, ever say, Pep Guardiola, get out my club. Never. It doesn't matter. If we are completely shit, it won't happen. I believe he would walk before it got to that anyway, but I would never do that because the guy's shown us things we never dreamed of, right? Yeah. But last season, there was a lot of frustrations. I get the frustrations last season. Now, along with Pep Guardiola, the other thing that this element of the fan base don't like is unks, right? Which I grew up being called an uncle is a term of endearment. However, my daughter's explained to me that being called an unk in the modern age just means you're old, right? So basically, last season we had... Yeah. So last season, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Kovacic were considered our unks, right? And everyone wanted our unks out of the club. It's quite weird because the only unk they didn't want out of the club was Kevin De Bruyne, right? Now, for me last season, out of those 4 players, Kevin De Bruyne might have been the worst of the 4. Now, that's nothing against Kevin De Bruyne. He's 34 years old, but he couldn't play football the way he used to play football, but he got a pass, whereas Kovacic, Bernardo, they hate Bernardo for some reason, absolutely hate Bernardo Silva. They're not a fan of Kovacic, and they really disliked the fact that Pep stuck with the players that he trusted, right? They really had a thing against that. But at times I got some of the things that this element of the fan base was saying. But where I was in the summer is I made it very clear that for me, I will know if I think Pep is the right man for the job within 10 games of this season, right?
Mhm.
Now, people said, so if you're not, you're going to be Pep out. And I said, no. I can form an opinion in my head. And if someone asks me, I'll give them it. But I won't walk around screaming, Pep out, let's get rid of Pep, let's get rid of Pep. I'll just personally think, do you know what? Maybe we're not going to see success until Pep moves on. Now, I've seen enough within 7 games or 7-8 games to know Pep is the right man for the job.
Sure.
This season, we've seen him not being stubborn. We've seen him changing, adapting, trying different things. Putting a lot of faith in Pep Linders, Kolo Toure. And I've seen enough to know, Pep isn't going to be... Last season, he was stubborn, but some might say Pep's stubbornness actually got us over the line and got us Champions League football, because whether that fan base... what's that? Daps, don't give us your content opinion. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Hello, we've reached the troll section of the show. Good evening to you or good morning. Baba Flossie. Daps, don't give us your content opinion. What's the difference between his opinion and his content opinion?
Right, so let me be very clear with this, right? Because this is something that for years I've had a real fucking issue with, right?
God.
I am always happy to be wrong about things, right?
Yeah.
I'm a football fan before I'm a content creator. And a game-going football fan as well, by the way. So this whole content thing, the only thing I admit, I've actually started doing a bit of trolling on TikTok recently, but apart from that, this is my full opinion. I'm telling you, I'm literally saying I was willing to actually turn around and say, do you know what? Maybe Pep isn't the right man for the job, right? I was there in the summer saying, do you know what? 10 games, and even I'll be honest, because the Al Hilal game in the Club World Cup, that made me really worried that, you know what, Pep's not going to change. Sure, he's just going to keep going back, but he has changed. So yeah, but it is strange. There is an element that do you know what is it's like it's become fashionable. I don't know what it is, but to be negative about your club has become trendy. And it's like there's people that target Pep in particular. I mean, I see it every day when I post videos, and I have people in like Kuzanov has. We're now decided the club has decided they're going to play Kuzanov as a right back, right?
Right.
He's a centre back, by the way, but we're going to play him as right back. Like straight away comments, Pep should have seen this sooner. Like that he hasn't, and it's like straight away if someone writes that, I think, well, you clearly have an agenda against Pep, and I don't get it. I can't like you can't get your head around it. How can you have an agenda against Pep Guardiola?
Can I ask you? Let me ask you a question. So I get Man City fans that pop into my chat all the time, and there's one who's a member of my show as well, and lovely lad. He's always saying to me, "Oh, Pep's gone, Pep out. You don't understand our expectations of this." And I always say to him, "Well, hang on. Your expectations weren't always this, were they? They weren't." And is this a case now where Man City have had it so good for so many years now that the moment let's be fair, last year you finished third, right? Now, for a lot of football clubs, a third and the FA Cup final. For a lot of football clubs, third and an FA Cup final is seen as this manager's a genius. You do it and it's dreadful. Are fans now just... are they entitled? Are there sections?
I do feel like an element of 100%.
You were before all the money.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when we played you last season, I didn't go. The game where you won 4-0, I believe. Was it 4-0?
Yes, 4-0. Yeah.
Right. So one of my mates, Eddie, and his son Jensen. So Jensen and Eddie, we've been across Europe together. His son's been, his son's seen everything. But when you were 3-0 up, I said, did you leave? And he said, did I fuck? He said, it's time that Jensen gets to see what I had to see as a kid. He said, because he's only seen us lose X number of times. And he said, he needs to sit there and go through the trenches that we had to go through. And it is that I kind of get it. I do get it, and I do get that expectations change 100%. But I just think you also... do you know what? This is why I'm saying that if this season hadn't started and I haven't seen what I have from Pep, I would form an opinion, and if someone asked me, I'd say, do you know what? I think maybe it is time that Pep and the board have a serious conversation and maybe part ways, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't make it, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be on every single stream writing in the comments, Pep out, get this. And it gets worse. It gets to the point of, get this wanker out of my... I mean, I've had someone in the comments this morning wishing injuries on Savinho, and he's a City fan.
Wow.
And he's wishing injuries on Savinho, saying, if he gets injured, then I won't have to talk about him. I won't have to fucking slate him anymore. I hope he does get an ACL. We get things like that. I mean, one of the things with Ederson's wife was getting threats off of City fans. Not like, I hope, wishing injury on Ederson's family and stuff. It's weird, bro. It's very, very weird. Very weird.
It's so strange. It's so strange. Look, I mean, otherwise, what fans are asking for is something that's never happened. They're asking for year in, year out, the title every year. Alex Ferguson managed, 3 in a row? You know, City did 4 in a row. You have a bad season and it's all gone to pot. You're like, do you know how many fan bases out there would take 1 title, let alone
facts.
4 on the spin? But look,
I think you forget how difficult as well, right? So I have no doubt that soon Liverpool fans will probably say that, oh, you know, from last season we're tired and whatever else. If you go and look at the body of work that Pep Guardiola and this squad has done from when Pep joined 9 years ago, right off the first year, but then after that, we won 2 years in a row, won the league 2 years in a row, while also going far in the Champions League both years, and also winning, I think, an FA Cup, doing a domestic treble, right? And doing 100 points, right?
Yep.
Then we had a year off, but in that year off, we also, I think we still won, the League Cup in our year off. And then we came back and we won 4 in a row, including the treble, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you think about how draining that is, and that means you're playing X number of games every season, how mentally and physically that is, it's just not achievable to win season in, season out.
Yeah.
And last season was coming. It was coming. What the thing that, and our board got it wrong. Our board got the summer before, not the summer we've just had. Our board got maybe 1 or 2 summers wrong, right? But the minute that we saw City hit that bad run of form last season, that was November, December. In January, our board went out and fucking spent, right?
Yeah.
So, again, when people are critical of the board, I'm like, I get it, they made a mistake. But we see boards make mistakes and just sit there and ignore it for years.
Whose board, year in, year out, doesn't make mistakes?
Yeah, facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
And if I'm not wrong, wasn't it from January through to May that Man City picked up more points in the league than anyone else?
Yes.
Like it was. So
yes.
Look, I just find it all crazy.
Yeah.
But let's
that
move.
gets ignored. That gets ignored. Loads of little things like that get ignored. And I don't just mean by rivals, by elements of our own fan base. They ignore things like that. They ignore things like the fact that the last 9 games of the season, we only conceded 4 goals. That gets ignored. And Ruben Diaz is apparently shit and needs to leave the club, apparently. So
it's too much, man. It's too much. Look, let's move. We all know you had a very busy January last year. You spent unknown amounts of money, really.
About 260, I think it was, in January.
A lot of money. And then you get to the summer, and I guess the question from a lot of football fans was, right, what's going to happen with these older players at City? You got Jack Grealish, you got Kyle Walker, you got John Stones, De Bruyne, Kovacic. Some went, some stayed. You didn't go crazy from what I can see in the transfer market. In terms of, Ait Nouri, you went and got Tijjani Reijnders and Cherki, and then in the last couple of days or hours or whatever it was, Donnarumma. Were you happy with that window? Because some people will say, well, hang on, other than Donnarumma, none of the guys you bought in were, let's say, a Haaland level, a De Bruyne level.
So I wanted Wirtz. I wanted Wirtz.
Sure.
When we didn't get Wirtz, I wanted Cherki, and we got Cherki. That was that, and that one surprised me because we hadn't overly been linked with him. So I was like, and it was frustrating me. We hadn't been linked with him, so I was happy with Cherki. I was very happy with Tijjani Reijnders. Ait Nouri, I'm not sold on. I'm not really.
Oh, you're going to break Ryan's heart. Look, just as he's asked you, he said loved him at Wolves. When's he back for you lot?
Well, this is the thing. So he's back after the international break. Nico O'Reilly's come in, and to be fair, Nico O'Reilly back end of last season was quality at left back. He's been good, but I would say that Rayan Ait Nouri has got unique qualities going forward, and I would say maybe after the break, I would maybe even start him against Everton, but at home. I think defensively, at the moment, from what I've seen, O'Reilly's better than Ait Nouri defensively. But going forward, but I was happy with. I wasn't so happy on that. Donnarumma, I wasn't sold on. I now most definitely am sold on.
He's a beast, isn't he? He's a beast.
It's a mentality as well. It's because I was a big fan of Ederson, so I was very much we have to have a keeper that can play out from the back, and I was wrong. It's how commanding he is on corners coming out, and he reminds me of Schmeichel. He actually does genuinely remind me of Schmeichel.
Right.
Just a physical presence that everyone knows is there. So I don't know. He's helping to make our defense feel a bit more settled again. But overall, I wasn't mad at the summer. I wanted a right back. I really wanted Livramento. But I didn't think we were going to get him. And this is where I am with Kuzanov at the moment, that I don't really know what right backs there are out there at the moment. The market's not great. Even Livramento, I've got concerns over his injuries, to be fair. So, I was quite happy with our window. Quite happy with our window. And again, I know that there's elements of the City fan base that from the minute of the window opened, they just wanted Rodrigo. All they wanted was Rodrigo. To the point where if I said, what do we need? They wouldn't say we need a left winger or we need a right winger. They would say, we need Rodrigo. And it's like, okay, that seems like you just want a toy. Right.
Yeah. You want the Galactico, so to speak, rather than what works for Man City. And then obviously you had the whole thing in the summer. I'll ask you about that right now, actually.
And I wouldn't have minded, by the way. One player that when Livramento became not available, one player that I actually was pushing, saying, do you know what, go and get, was Jed Spence. I wanted Jed Spence. But
do you know what? You're the second person I've interviewed in 2 days that has said that, because was it Monts yesterday, maybe? Maybe it was Monts who said to me, I wanted I wanted Spence as well. And the difficulty is that Spence is absolutely fabulous defensively. Like defensively, nothing really goes past him. Offensively, not really seen it, but defensively, he's very, very strong.
Well, that's the same at the moment. We're going with Kuzanov, who ultimately, going forward at the moment, he doesn't really offer much. But at the moment, with where City are, I think we need to become solid again defensively. We've got O'Reilly, who's an attacking midfielder playing at left back, and we've got Vardiol, who likes to go forward anyway. So very
Nico
good player.
O'Reilly's a good player. I watched him when he first played for you a year or so back. Can't remember when it was, and I remember watching him. Went, yep, you can play. Saw his feet. Yeah. I was taught growing up, if you want to see how good a footballer is, watch their feet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I watched them run around.
He's an attacking midfielder by trade. It's just because he's so physical. I think the plan initially was actually for him to be Rodri back up, but then somehow he ended up playing left back, and it was like whereas Rico Lewis is a bit too weak to play as a fullback. O'Reilly's about 6'3". So
I like Rico Lewis in certain aspects. There's certain aspects that he's a busy player. He looks like he can play in multiple positions, gets on the ball. But I said when I first saw him, I said to myself, this will be one that City sell in a few years because he won't be able to nail down a spot. And I wasn't being harsh. I just don't see him being boom, number one.
Do you know what?
Position.
Again, he's a midfielder that under Pep, and you've got to remember he started playing for City when he was, I think he was 16, maybe just turned 17. This is his 4th season with us now. He's only 20, but he's not a right back. His best position for me is in the final third, like almost in a kind of box to box stroke, maybe even a 10 role, right? He's not ever going to get that at Manchester City. And I've been saying for 2 summers, for me, I would loan him out to a club that will play him in his best position so we know how good he is. For me, as a right back, he will never be good as a right back. He's not a good right back. He's not physical enough. But he's one that I think he's just signed a new contract. I think he's one that he gets the Pep system so well, can play in multiple positions, and for that reason, I think until Pep goes, Rico Lewis will remain a Man City player, just because Pep. And do you know what? He's one of those 6 out of 10s, like and homegrown squad player. Sometimes you need them.
Yeah. Listen, and let's be fair. When you do eventually sell him, you're going to make money. You're going to make a lot of money off of a graduate. So, look. Before we move on to what's happened so far in the games, and I want to talk through what you think is your best 11 in a minute.
Just quickly, that comment there. Daps said City would beat Spurs if Vardy was on the pitch. No, I didn't. I literally didn't say that, bro. I love how people take when you say what I said to Mons is that Liverpool lost, because Mons had said that Liverpool lost 2 in a row. Yeah. And he said, haven't Manchester City also lost 2 in a row this season? I said, yes, we have. And he said, interesting. And I said, now, Mons, I think it's worth saying that if you had important players out, you would mention it as a Liverpool fan. If Van Dijk was out, you would mention it. So I will mention the fact that the 2 games we have lost this season, Vardy is out. That is all I said. I did not say.
By the way, we'll get to it in a minute when we talk about the 11. But Vardy, for me, top defender. I think this is a top footballer. This guy. We'll come to him in a minute. I want you to talk to me about one more player that you've bought before we move to your 11. Tijjani Reijnders. Interesting signing. I'm a big fan of Tijjani Reijnders. I watched a lot of the Serie A. Goal scoring midfielder, busy, gets on the ball, involved. What have you made of his start, and what do you think of him as a footballer?
So he's an interesting one as well from a fan base point of view. Obviously against Wolves, phenomenal. Scored 2 goals. Was absolutely brilliant. And then since then, he's lost his shooting boots. And so there's elements of our fan base that straight away going, he's not good enough. We need to get rid of him because he hasn't scored, right? Now, for me...
It is the 9th of October. So, let's sack everyone by the 9th of October.
And it is literally like, whereas for me, I'm watching Reijnders, Foden and Rodri as a midfield, right? Because that's been our midfield this season. Yeah. And it's getting better and better every single game. Now, against Brentford, I think Reijnders in the first half was brilliant. He's really good. It's just he needs to find his shooting boots. And that's it. Apart from that, when you can see a player and you just know that they're classy, that they've got it. And sometimes it can be the very simple things. The Haaland goal against Arsenal. Look at the run Reijnders makes with the ball, right? Mm-hmm. The direction he takes, the timing of the pass, the weight of the pass to Haaland. He drew the defence out perfectly. waited, played it to Haaland at the perfect weight. And it's those little things, the weight of his pass and his timing of his pass. Now, I do also know from AC Milan, the guy can score goals as well. It's just this season, for whatever reason, he hasn't found his shooting boots yet. But he's one for me that I said in the summer, and I might be wrong, it might end up being Donnarumma, but I said for me, out of all of our signings, Reijnders was the most important.
Mm. Yeah, listen, I like Reijnders. I think you need his energy in and around Rodri as well. Listen, by the way, quickly, people, a lot of the stream elements, by the way, sorry, I know it's posting every 2 minutes. It's brand new. It's the first day I've had it. I'm trying to get to grips with it. And I don't know how to slow it down from posting every 2 minutes. It's driving me berserk. Please ignore it. I will figure it out in the background. There's a lot of stuff that happens in YouTube, and I need to figure out how to stop it asking for a coffee every 120 seconds because it's just ridiculous.
Although you could just buy Savva a coffee and then
yeah, sure. But I mean, look, 329, 331.
Fair enough.
I don't know how to slow it down. Somebody else implemented it for me. I have asked that person to please help me because it's driving me mad.
Was it?
No, it definitely wasn't Kaz. It's definitely not Kaz. I like it that it reminds people every 10 minutes, but not every 100.
Yeah, not every 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I want to bring up. This is loosely what I see as your best 11, right? Yeah. Loosely. I've got no skin in the game. It's not my club. Now this has got Gigi Donnarumma in goals, but I didn't think I needed to show him. Loosely, and I wanted to ask you.
No. Yeah.
No, cool. That's what I wanted to ask you. What needs to change here? What formation? And I'll play about with it in the background on FootMob. So, first of all, is that the right formation?
Yeah, I probably would say it is pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Much.
The fact that you went no. What is it?
Right.
What's not right in this 11 for you?
So, I mean, and by the way, I've changed this season already.
Okay.
So for me at the moment, Marmoush is Haaland backup.
Okay. All right.
Now, Haaland or Doku backup, either or.
Okay.
And then on the right-hand side, it's the one position that I personally don't think... So... There's three players for me that it could be on the right-hand side. Could be Savio, could be Bob, or it could be Cherki. Cherki hasn't, because Cherki's been injured, we haven't had a chance to see Cherki there. I think after the international break, we will probably see Cherki on the right-hand side. Oh, and Bernardo as well, by the way. Bernardo's been playing over there as well.
Give me one. If you had to pick one right now, you put in there.
For me, I'm Cherki. For me, it's Cherki.
So Ray and Cherki. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I know he should come out for O'Reilly as well.
I knew you were going to say that. Is it Nico? There you go.
Nico O'Reilly, that's him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and someone's just mentioned, by the way, Savio, our left winger. Is Tom a Tottenham fan?
Is Tom? Yeah, Tom is.
Right.
So, Tom, our left winger. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Savio so far on the right hand side last season didn't cut it. Aesthetically pleasing, but no impact whatsoever. You go back and look at his time at Girona on the left. He was very impactful,
yeah.
And even last season when he did.
Lefty.
Yeah, and when you've got I think one of the issues City had last season is we had a Doku who wasn't scanning the pitch at all and was not. Doku last season did not care about finding Haaland, and then on the right hand side we had Savio, whose job was basically all he wanted to do was cut in and shoot. That's what he does on the right hand side. Whereas on the left hand side, Savio crosses the ball. So for me, I would this season, to be honest, if Savio does play for City, I want to see him on the left. I don't want to see him on the right like last season. But the form Doku's in.
Well, I was going to ask you before we talk about the rest of the 11. Doku's a player I've always liked. And I think Doku for me is a shining example of why we don't rate players solely on their first season when they're young, right?
Yeah.
Doku for me, I've always seen just this amazing talent. And I get it. People saying there was no end product. I thought the second half of last season, I started to see a really good Doku.
Facts.
And the beginning of this season, he looks unplayable.
Yeah.
What do you think of Doku? How much do you rate him?
So he's one of those players, right? From the minute we signed him, I remember West Ham away, and I think we were 1-0 down. Doku came on, and this was the start of the season before last, where sometimes we were playing quite slow football, and Doku just gets bums off seats. The minute he gets the ball, and sometimes you need that to help get a bit of atmosphere in the ground, right? But he was frustrating. I mean, he's one. I have never in my 43 years, or -3, because probably I was a baby before that. So 40 years of watching football, I've never seen a player beat a man every time, right?
Yeah.
But then it not lead to something. And that is, and so that's a frustrating thing. And the other thing that I noticed last season was because he was never, I mean, right, so Grealish gets the ball, Foden gets the ball, Declan Rice gets the ball, Nico Gonzalez gets the ball. A lot of footballers get the ball. And before the ball's even arrived at their feet, they've scanned the pitch and they know where players are, right? Now, when you've got a fucking robot up top, that if you get the ball to him as quickly as possible, he's likely to score. You really should be scanning the pitch before you decide that you're going to try and take on a player. And that was what was frustrating with Doku, is that he would never scan for Haaland. And I remember Bratislava away watching, Steve and I were kind of watching Haaland and Doku and watching Haaland's body language throughout the game. And it was just every time Doku got the ball, Haaland kind of just threw his arms down and just didn't bother making runs because he was like, there's no point. You're not going to look for me. Whereas this season, all of a sudden, it's completely the opposite. And I think Pep Linders has really helped him. I think Pep Linders has gone in there and is apparently, it doesn't make sense, but reports are that Kolo Touré worked with Haaland and Doku for those to come up with a way that they can communicate better with one another. They both speak English, so but you know.
I mean, it's the football communication, not the language, right? But
Doku this season's just been. I mean, it's just a completely different player.
Yeah, I think he's class. He is what I want to watch when I go to watch football, and that's why I love Mohamed Kudus. These are the types of players I love.
Very similar,
right? So let's look. We talked about Reijnders. We don't need to talk about Rodri. I think the world knows what Rodri is. I don't think we need to talk about Erling Haaland. He's on fire. Foden.
Well, we can talk on Haaland. I think, do you know what? This is the thing. I think we need to talk more on Haaland because I'm kind of like, I go through TikTok, I go through Instagram, and I see the amount of people and this is a clear thing. They'll get asked the question, who's the best striker in the world or who's the best forward in the world? And like, I just watched one straight away, he comes out with Isaac. And I'm like, in what world? Like, for me, it's Harry Kane and Haaland, no other answer.
There's
no other. There's no, and Mbappe, even Mbappe, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing it, right? I'm not hearing it. I get Mbappe, but slightly different type of player in my eyes as well. But for me, if you are asked who is the best forward or striker or nine, any of those three words, right? It's Kane and Haaland, no other answer. And I don't understand how people can be throwing in Gyökeres, people can be throwing in Isaac. And in no walk of life does it make sense. None. And it's like, I feel like because he's so good, people just don't. I mean, and this is the thing this season, by the way, for anyone that hasn't seen Haaland this season, he's a completely different monster. The guy is getting back and defending. The guy is involved in build-up play. And also the guy is part of our leadership squad. And it's very clear to see that he is part of our leadership. He's pretty much moving like the captain, right? So I do think people need to start giving Haaland a lot more fucking respect than they do. And there's people that do, but there's a lot of people out there that just,
I've said this for ages, and without causing a debate about Haaland, Kane, I've said this for ages. Erling Haaland's just different. Like, this is a guy that came out the womb scoring goals. You know, he's been playing pro football since about the age of 15 and been banging in goals since about the age of 15. There was no, let's send him out on loan. He's young. He'll come. It was bang from day one. Goals.
Every season, every club.
Every season, every club. But do you know what makes me laugh, Daps? This is the key thing for me is when I see people, I feel it's lazy fans that say things like, yeah, but he's not a good player if he's not scoring. I'm like, hang on. I don't think these people watched him at Dortmund, right? Yeah. At Dortmund, they didn't play the same way that City did. Not City now, but I'm talking about peak City. At Dortmund, he spent so much time dropping to the halfway line, dropping into that final third, collecting the ball, laying it off, spinning, like the Arsenal goal this season.
Yeah. Exactly like the Arsenal goal was exactly that. Yeah.
Right.
And
But the thing is, Man City, when he came to Man City, he didn't need to do that because Man City in midfield had Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Foden.
Let me tell you exactly how it was put to him. Because someone I know witnessed this in training. First season, within a couple of months of him getting there, Haaland trying to drop deep and play exactly the way he played at Dortmund and the way he is playing now. And Pep turned to him and say, no, Erling, no, you stay up there. When you come into this area, you bring 3 defenders with you, and then Kevin, Gundo, Rodri, Phil, they can't operate because you've just brought 3 extra players into their zone. You stay up there and the defenders stay there.
See, I always try and say this to people, like when Kane for Spurs started dropping deep. So it was very much in the Jose Mourinho era. And what had happened was we just lost Christian Eriksen. So Christian Eriksen was a fantastic playmaker in his day, fantastic playmaker. And Kane could stay up front because he'd go, well, Eriksen's going to find me.
Yeah.
When we lost Eriksen, we were like, shit, we've got no wingers and no midfield. So what Jose did was he dropped Kane to almost be a number 10 and let Son be the number 9 running through.
Yeah.
Haaland doesn't need to do that.
This is the thing that for the first 2 seasons he didn't. We had De Bruyne still
but
kind
now
of in
he
his prime.
is.
Okay.
Now he is.
Last season, one of the issues last season was that De Bruyne was not the same player. Ilkay was not the same player. Rodri was injured. Foden was out of form. So all of a sudden, Haaland was doing what he'd done in the previous seasons, but we didn't have the midfielders that could find him. We had and that's why I think Pep Linders has gone in and said to Pep, how does last season you played with two wingers, with Doku and Savio as touchline wingers. How did that work out for you? Not great. Okay, let's try them as inside forwards and let's try dropping Haaland a bit deeper. Now all of a sudden it's working better. But I just think the hate it's not even hate on Haaland. It's overhyping of other players, right?
I agree. Look, for me at the moment, it's scary how much better than any other striker in the Premier League he is. That's the scary thing for me. You haven't even got. I can't even sit here and name 3 or 4 that you go, well, they're not Haaland, but they're very good. I think if there's Haaland and then
you look at. I think there's a stat. If you add up Ekitike, Gyökeres, Isaac, I mean basically every major signing together. They still are nowhere near the number of goals Haaland scored this season. But for me, the important thing is I'm not even looking at his goals. It's his all-round game this season. Like, I mean, and you ask a few City fans, they'll tell you about how, I think against Man United, 4 interceptions or 4 blocks in the space of 5 minutes, right? As just he's getting back and he's getting stuck in. So,
he's class. He's can't. Well, look, the last player I want to talk to you about in that things, I think you were pretty. Other than that, sorry, I'm not calling you pretty, Daps, as much as you're a lovely guy. I think it was pretty clear that this is the 11. Unless you change anyone else, talk to me about Phil Foden, because let me tell you where I am with Phil Foden. Right now, you know me, Daps, as much as you get these people who want to go on to Never a Foul and Football's 12th Man that are just banter. And I get that. But you know me, I kind of like more of the football conversation rather than your team shit. What I couldn't believe was Phil Foden has an amazing season. By the way, I've loved Phil Foden since he was about 17 and he came onto the scene. I thought he was brilliant. Has an amazing season, wins Player of the Year, scores loads, assists loads, wins you the title. And it's amazing how within 6 months, the world forgets, and it's never rated Foden because he's having a tough time. Foden's shit, never rated him. He's no good. I would prefer Palmer. I don't like this. Football fans baffle me, Daps, because I think this boy, and I think he's getting back to his best slowly. This boy is one of the most talented footballers we've produced for decades. He is a quality player.
Yeah. See, for me, you've got to remember that the season he won Player of the Season was the season where De Bruyne was injured for, I think, 6 months of this season. I think Haaland was out for a bit of the season as well. And Foden, everyone was saying this is a time for Phil to step up. He stepped up, and that season we won the league predominantly because of Foden, a bit of Alvarez as well, and of course Haaland. But look, last season he was bad.
Yeah, sure.
He's come out and he's said mentally, I feel winning the Player of the Season and then going away with England. I do think there could be other things, but that's me speculating, right? But going away with England and then having a frustrating tournament with England, I think, sometimes when you peak, a bit like you peak and all of a sudden the pressure on you becomes too much. And he was bad last season. Like, he was really bad. But I'll be honest with you, I've kind of said, when people said, like, at the back end of last season, look, we get Rodri back, we get Foden back, we're already halfway to being back to the team that we were. This season, we've kind of seen that Rodri is not back to full fitness yet, and Foden is still getting back into the swing of things, but we already look so much better. I think Foden missed Rodri a lot because I think I think Rodri would get the ball right. Rodri trusts Foden, and Rodri will give Foden the ball in positions that maybe some players think, oh no, I better not give him the ball there. Whereas Rodri will straight away pop the ball straight into Foden. But I'll be honest with you, there's been times this season already where I've seen potentially the best Foden yet. Now, he's not there yet. For me, I think that because of how highly I rate him, I need to see consistency. I can't have a good 7 games. But there's signs this season. And what's quite nice is, right, I remember the first ever game I watched of Foden, and the way he was a facilitator. He just floated around the pitch as a 17-year-old and was constantly offering himself as an outlet to players. Give me the ball. Even if they give him the ball and he'd give it straight back to them, right? Yeah. Very David Silva-esque, where you're making space and you're controlling the game. And I always thought Foden as an 8 one day will be. But at that point, we had Gundogan, we had Bernardo Silva, we had Kevin De Bruyne, we have all these players. So Foden was put out on the wing, right?
But he's the one that Pep never let go.
Yeah.
All these young players in that 7, 8, 9 years.
There's a reason. If you look at it, Sancho left. Why? Because he knew we had that summer. Contracts were offered to Brahim Diaz, Foden, and Sancho, right? Brahim Diaz and Foden signed them. Sancho knew, I ain't getting it. I'm not going to break through. We're not with Brahim Diaz and Foden here, right? So he left. Same with Cole Palmer. The truth is that Cole Palmer was not a starter for Manchester City, and he knew that him and Foden in the 10 is a conversation. But I feel like what we're seeing this season is we're starting to see Foden playing in the 8 role, not playing as a winger, not playing as a 10. He's playing deeper.
Do you know what?
He's starting to impact the game more.
The other day, like, I think this season we've seen some goals and some assists in that. But what I noticed the other day, and whilst Brentford wasn't his greatest game, he should have had a hat trick. Let's be fair, but he's getting in those positions again.
Yeah,
he's starting to maneuver just outside the box, that space for himself. Yeah. Right, where we've seen him lash so many chances, bottom corner, top corner. Now, yeah, against Brentford, he dragged shots wide and he should have scored. But I would always want a Phil Foden in my football team because, one, if he's my teammate, I know if I give him the ball, I know I'm getting it back because I know he's comfortable. 2, he is one of those footballers, and there aren't many. There aren't many footballers that can have 2-3 men around them and say, don't worry about it. Give me the ball still.
Yeah, facts.
I'm technically good enough. Give me the ball. There's not many. Not many, especially English.
I'll be honest, right? Watching him this season, we missed that last season. You can see it this season, the retention. The one thing I think he probably needs to improve on a little bit is because, look, Foden likes to shoot, is his priority, and like everyone in the team's priority should be, first option is, where is Erling Haaland, right? and no, bro, it should be.
Get it to Erling.
And if not, Phil, do your thing. But at times, especially in the role he plays, have a look for Erling first. And that is everyone. That is everyone.
If you've got a guy like Erling Haaland up front, you know that he's putting the ball in the net. And listen, we've got about 8 minutes left, Daps. So I want to talk to you about not just Man City now. I want to talk to you a couple of minutes, just 2-3 minutes on the greatest team the world has ever seen, the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. And then the last 5, don't you raise your eyebrows. I above your glasses.
As a City fan, I can't. As a City fan, I really can't talk on Tottenham.
No, I know. We've got your number for some reason. I want to talk just for 2 minutes, and then for the last 5, I want to talk about what's happening with this title race. So, just quickly, Spurs, a lot of upheaval. Manager's gone. Won the Europa League. Daniel Levy's gone. All the coaches went, the medical staff went, brought in some good players, targeted some good players, started the season brilliantly. What do you make of Tottenham Hotspur as a club at the moment?
So firstly, I'm a big Thomas Frank fan. So I think he's do you know what? I remember watching him. He was one of the pundits for the Euros.
Yes.
And listening to, sometimes when you listen to someone speak about football, you can register.
Yeah. You want to listen. You want to listen, right?
And I found him really interesting as a pundit. And he's done phenomenal job at Brentford. Do you know Pep said about Frank? I think it was last season when we were playing Brentford. He said, Thomas Frank is a manager that will be very difficult to get away from Brentford because he's comfortable there. He knows what he's doing there. He knows his surroundings there and he's happy there. But one day a bigger club will get him away from there and people will be shocked at just how much he can achieve. Right? Now, as far as the signings you've made this summer, I see what you're doing. I think you're probably 2 pieces away from being really on something.
What pieces?
A left winger, and probably it's another midfielder for me. I'll probably say a striker.
We definitely need a striker.
Oh shit! Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
But you are right. You are right. We need a ball player number 8. We need someone who dictates tempos of football games. Because Paulinho has come in. He is
quality signing. Absolutely quality signing.
And we're going to get him permanently for about 26, 27 million, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have the guy next to him that can really, the conductor.
Yeah.
Who keeps an Adam Wharton. right? We don't have an Adam Wharton type,
Yeah,
a
hands off.
Rodri type, a Declan. We don't have it. So
Yeah.
I make you right. And this, basically what Tony has said here.
Yeah, there it
A
is.
left
Yeah,
winger,
yeah, yeah.
an 8. And then after that, Tony, a new goalkeeper. But say it quietly because people get offended.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I don't think Solanke's it as well. But do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I really, really got the Morgan Gibbs-White thing. I think Morgan Gibbs-White alongside Polina, with Maddison would work extremely. Because by the way, I know I get Forest haven't started well, and Wolfie will make everyone look at Morgan Gibbs-White.
I'm on with him in 4 minutes, by the way, so I'm just gearing up for Wolfie.
Morgan Gibbs-White, for me, in an 8 role, not in a 10 role, in an 8 role, would work at City, would work at Tottenham, would work at a lot of clubs.
I agree. I think sometimes
for him though, right? I mean, he's signed a new contract. There might be a clause in there potentially.
I think what some fans confuse that is when a team's not playing well versus a player not being very good. So when I'm watching Forest at the moment, they just look dreadful as a team. Doesn't mean Morgan Gibbs-White is not a good footballer. Listen, the biggest example of that is when Spurs signed Kudus. How many Spurs fans went, "Oh, did you see him last year?" It's like, yeah, don't worry, watch him.
Yeah. Now, Kudus had given up last season for me. Do you know what? Another one for you lot to actually go in for maybe would be Lucas Paqueta.
I'd take Lucas Paqueta all day long. Listen, I'm all for anyone who's got technical ability. It's okay buying runners.
Lucas Paqueta will work for you, I think.
Well, listen, we got 2.5 minutes left because I am going over to Football's 12th Man. I'm going to send you all there with me. If my mods, just for the last 2 minutes, please be so kind to put in Daps' 2 channels, which is We Are the South Stand and also Never a Foul as well. Please put his link in there. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. They quality panel shows and they have so many a plethora of guests. Quickly, Daps, you've got 2 minutes. Talk to me. I'm not one who talks about title races after 7 games. I think the title race will sort itself out in the next 10, 15. Are Man City capable of winning the league? And if not, who's winning it?
So Manchester, unlike Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans who are full of chest and telling everyone they're going to win the league, I'm not there yet, right? We will be in a title race, though. We will be in a title race. I don't think Liverpool, and partly that is not, I'm not saying City are back and City are, back to the best, right? But I've looked at Arsenal and I've looked at Liverpool and I don't think either of them are that far ahead of us. That's my main reasoning. I don't think either of them are as good. And I still think we've got gears to go through. I still think we've got quite a few gears to go through. I don't know. Look, Liverpool for me have to be considered favourites. If you are champions and you have spent that much money,
much money, much money,
you have to be considered champions, right? But I can't lie. I'm starting to look at Arsenal's squad and think it's deep, It's really fucking deep. But here's the thing. I still... Football is... We can end on this. Football is what have you done for me lately, right? And cool. Arsenal fans will tell you, Arteta, now, he's doing the right things. Cool. We played Arsenal, I believe, 3 games ago, was it? And they were all killing him, saying him. And that's the thing where football changes, swings and roundabouts. I mean, Arsenal are definitely losing 3 points at the Etihad because we're beating them there. I don't know. For me, next, if we redo one of these shows, next international break, right? Because after that, we will have our last game before the next international break is Liverpool at the Etihad, right? And I expect to win against Liverpool at the Etihad as well.
Why not?
And at that point, I might be here saying, "Yeah, we're winning the league." But at the moment, I don't know if we're ready to win it again yet. Maybe we need one more season to get back to our best. But We're going to be up there, definitely.
So give me, I want a one-word answer. As of now, 7 games in, the 9th of October, who's winning the league?
City.
Oh, he's gone for it. He's gone for it.
Yeah,
by the way,
City.
I said from the beginning of the season, City are my tip to win it. One can never
Quite a
say
few
Arsenal.
people have said that, you know.
Liverpool for me, as I've always said, slot for me. I need to see how good this guy is when it's his squad. So we'll see. Listen, Daps, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Really appreciate it. Please get over to We Are the South Stand, which is Daps' personal channel, and then Never a Foul, his channel with Kaz and the boys. And also big up to Paul Langley for putting in the super sticker. Really appreciate you. I'm going to send you all over right now. Thank you, Paul. Really do appreciate that. I'm going to send you right now to Football's 12th Man. Everyone wants to mock Joe because of him saying Spurs was shit and they were going to beat us. Everyone wants to mock Wolfie purely because it's Wolfie and Nottingham Forest is shit. I'll be on the panel. Thank you very much, Daps. Take care, everyone. We've got Monts coming up for one of these. I've got Saeed coming up for one of these. I've got Wolfie coming up for one of these.
God,
I'm trying to get Lee Gunner for one of these. And Pete from Loaded Mag for one of these. So we've got loads of these over the next week. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.